All right, let's get started. I know everybody's time is valuable on this beautiful, cold Philly, sunny at least, Friday afternoon. Welcome to our monthly Hopskip webinar where we host this every Friday, or excuse me, we host it twice a month, one focused on planners, one focused on hotels on Fridays, always at this time. And for those of you, before I jump into what we're going to cover today, I'll take a step back and introduce myself. For those of you who might not be familiar with me or my company, I'm Sean Whalen, one of the co-founders, CEO of Hopskip. We're a platform that meeting and event professionals use to streamline and turbocharge how they source and contract hotels for business events. So we work with a ton of professional meeting and event planners who are sourcing hotels on behalf of their clients, and they're always business-focused events or meetings. Of course, room blocks as well. Hotel side, we work with, to date, we have a little over 150,000 global groups and meetings hotels on the platform, across the globe. And our value prop really to hotels is we want to bring you high quality leads that actually convert and provide you with the insights and visibility that you might not be finding on other channels. One of the unique things about Hopskip, before we jump into the walkthrough, is planners actually pay to use the Hopskip platform. So whenever you receive a Hopskip RFP, it's always going to be from a professional meeting and event planner. It's going to be complete and accurate. It's going to ultimately convert, whether it's a closed won or closed lost, but you will find out whether you won or lost. And it's typically a nice piece of business. So the leads that you get on Hopskip, you're not going to receive on any other channel. And I'm going to walk you through today how to receive an RFP, how to respond to an RFP, and how to update your property profile to ensure that you are putting your property in the best light to our meeting and event planners. I'll also show you some analytics that we just recently launched that is available on the premium tier of Hopskip. So to make sure everybody's aware, Hopskip's 100% free for hotels to receive RFPs, to respond to leads, to win business. We do not take a commission or a booking fee. You have the option to upgrade to a paid plan, but completely optional. So, and a lot of hoteliers, when they first start getting familiar with Hopskip or they've received their first lead, that's always one of the first questions we get. So we always like to make sure that we're very upfront and transparent on that. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to walk you through where you land when you first walk into Hopskip. This is your RFP dashboard. This is your command center for all of your Hopskip leads. When you receive a new Hopskip RFP, it's going to be in this new column. Each one of these columns represents a different stage in the sourcing process. So as you begin reviewing, as you respond, as you win, you're going to see this lead be moved to the next stage in the pipeline. You can also switch to a table view, see a little bit more details around the lead. Jumping into the lead to see the details is as simple as just clicking on the name of that RFP. You're going to jump right into the details of that opportunity. I'm going to show you what it looks like, though, to receive an RFP that's completely new, so you can see what we show you when you first are opening the RFP for the first time. So let me go back here. I'm going to jump into this new RFP, right? I'm going to be presented with this pop-up, which is important for hoteliers to understand what this means. When you open up a Hopskip RFP and begin reviewing and responding, we're going to alert the planner and confirm to the planner that you've received the RFP, that you've begun your review process, and that planner will get a notification email. Your proposal status or response status will change from awaiting reply or unopened RFP, which is what we show to the planner until you open the RFP. It will change to in progress as you begin reviewing it. So I click OK. Now you can see top left, status is in progress. First page of the RFP that we receive is my one-page overview, snapshot of the lead. Our goal at Hopskip is we know your time is money as hoteliers. We want to make sure that your time is best spent. So we try and provide you with all the key data points that you need to know in order to make a decision right off the bat if this is something that you're even able to bid on, right? So you'll have your RFP summary here. You have your program info tab here, which is going to provide you some additional detail around the group and event profile. You'll see any key success factors that the planners listed, any deal breakers you should be aware of. And then you'll also see any contract details for this group. The proposal builder section of the RFP is where you're actually building the proposal and bidding on the lead. So Hopskip organizes different tabs across the top horizontally. Each one of these tabs is a different section of the proposal that you'll need to fill out if you'd like to bid on this event. So the first section, room rate, I know you're all very familiar with how to bid on a room block. You'll jump on the room rate tab. You'll see the dates the planners requested. You'll simply just put in a rate, for each room type that was requested, and then you're good to go to the next tab. It's as simple as that. So you'll see this red exclamation mark change to a green check mark as you complete each section. Important to call out though, you can jump ahead to any section you'd like. You don't have to complete one before the other. Event space is where you're going to see details of the event space requests, right? This is where planners are detailing out exactly the event rooms, meeting space that they need. They're going to tell you what they think in terms of room layout it needs to be. They're going to mention and document the number of attendees that they're expecting to be in that room. If they need any food and beverage, you'll also have that detail. If you've set up your property profile, which we highly suggest new hoteliers do this, because it's going to not only save you a whole lot of time during the proposal process, it's also going to make your proposal stand out and be much more competitive, because we now know over the years what data points that aren't necessarily financially related actually move the needle for the planner. So one of those that we've learned is meeting room assignments. I know some planners can have 40 different meeting rooms that they're requesting, maybe across a couple days. And that could be a lot to go line by line and assign each meeting room and to add a meeting room detail to each one. So what you can do on Hopskip is when you get to the assigning of meeting rooms, if you've set up your property profile and entered all of your meeting space just once, it's as simple as just going to the specific room in the dropdown that you want to assign. All the details are already populated. I click assign. Hopskip's going to recognize that I have an RFP that is requesting the same meeting space across all 4 days of the event. So instead of building that out or assigning it out line by line, I just click assign to selected, and now that room is assigned. I would do the same thing for the remaining rooms, and I'd be able to get this entire event agenda assigned to meeting rooms in less than 2 minutes. Now, you can also mark your rooms as TBD, which we know, in fairness to hotels, sometimes hotels really don't know which room they're going to assign until it's closer to the program. That's okay too. All you have to do here, just click mark all rooms TBD. Hopskip's going to ask you to confirm. You're going to click yes. All rooms are now marked TBD. So you can see here the progression of the proposal. We've done our room rate tab. We've done our event space tab. My F&B tab is where I can see the detailed F&B requests by the planner. And this is where I have the option to provide an F&B minimum or detailed F&B rates. Completely up to you. We have found that planners, go figure, will look at a hotel's proposal that has detailed F&B rates over an F&B minimum proposal if those hotels stack the same weight. So that detail is definitely super helpful to the planner and super appreciative. And it's the same concept of meeting space in your hotel property profile. You can set this up once so that whenever you receive an F&B detailed request, you're just literally selecting right from the drop down, and all of your F&B rates, costs are all going to pre-populate, and you just have a couple clicks. Your question section. So this is where planners are asking you questions, right? These are all probably questions you get all the time. You're going to be able to, on Hopskip, receive that question, answer that question. You just have to click the next button. In the near future, we're going to be coming out with frequently asked question features for hotels, meaning when you receive a question that you've received, 10 times before, you can have a templated or canned response that's going to pre-populate in that response text box for that question. You'll have the ability to approve or tweak the response before you hit next. So I would tab through these questions. I would answer the questions, and then I would have a green check mark. Same thing with concessions. So concessions, I know you're all familiar with that. You're just essentially going to go in each concession and approve or decline it. So we're going to offer this concession, and we're going to put a dollar value next to that concession because we want to show off the value that this concession is bringing. We are going to now go to the contract clauses section. Contract clauses are something I want to make sure is very transparent to hotels on Hopskip, because planners can include contract language in the RFP that they're requesting to be included in the agreement, right? They are not asking you to approve it at this time. They're just asking you to acknowledge that you are requesting this language to be in the hotel's agreement and that you're willing to have a conversation with them if indeed you get shortlisted by the planner. So definitely something that we have found that by having this feature, it eliminates the aha moment for planners or hotels alike when they get all the way through the proposal process and are ready to start reviewing the contract, and then they find out there's a term or a clause that's just not going to work for either party. All right, we're going to go. I'm going to be a little quicker here on these last few tabs, but I do want to make sure that they're called out. So general, taxes, and attachments. This is all supplemental information, but some of these fields are required. So you're going to want to make sure that you slow down when you get to like the expiration cutoff and your point of contact, because planners at this point, when they start receiving proposals, they may hit you up and not have any contact information if you don't enter it. The last thing I'm going to call out here is the taxes and fees. Some of this can look a little intimidating, right? Because I know depending on what jurisdiction you're in or what region you live in, you might have a lot of taxes, fees, extra costs that need to be added to the agreement. A couple things I want to call out here. One, you can do your profile setup when you first get into Hopskip and enter all this information once, right? Your resort fees, your attrition, taxes, enter that once, and then this is going to pre-populate for you every time. What you can also do for the hotels that might have some additional fees that are not quote unquote standard, they might be state or local. What you're able to do in your property profile is create, and actually you could do it here as well. You can add a new, essentially you're building out a new rate or a new cost that you're going to include in this proposal. You put a name to that. You would decide what the planner, you would decide pretty much what the planner is going to read that rate that you're entering or submitting in your proposal as. You put a description, and then you put what that value is. You click add, and then you would be added. So let me just show you how that works, because I see some folks asking questions. Fees, so we're going to say state 10. All right, we're going to say it's percentage of room rate 4. We're going to add it. Now that's added. All right, let's see if we have any questions. All right. Let me see if anybody is having some technical difficulties. It could be me on my side. It could be not me. So please let me know if you guys are experiencing any audio issues. I'm in the process, unfortunately, of moving, so I apologize. I'm not at my office right now. The internet, though, is showing strong on my side. If it does get really choppy, I'll go off video. All right. Sorry, I'm just keeping up in the chat, making sure we can provide some clear picture. All right, so the review proposal tab. You've submitted your proposal. You've completed your proposal. Now you need to review it and make sure it's accurate. And then you're going to submit it, right? So making sure it's accurate and making sure you provided all the adequate information needed for the RFP, super easy. On your review proposal tab, you're literally going to have a one-pager snapshot of your proposal. You're going to have any required missing information highlighted in red. So easily, if you want to click on any of these, it's going to take you right to where you're missing that information. So I just clicked on guest rooms. It's taking me right to the guest rooms concession that I have that information that I've not yet entered. Once I go through all that and I add that additional info, I'm going to click submit proposal. Once I click submit proposal, in this case, Hopskip's not going to allow me to submit it because I didn't provide all the information needed. But if I did, it would. And at that point in time, what's happening is this. The proposal is now going to the other side of the platform where the planner is now getting notified. They have a proposal from you. It will mention your name as the salesperson. It will mention your property, and it will have the RFP in it and the RFP code. They'll click a button in that email and come right back to Hopskip to begin reviewing your proposal. You'll get notified at that point in time. You're going to get notified every time a planner begins reviewing, just like a planner gets notified every time you begin reviewing their RFP. The next section I'm going to actually show you in your dashboard is going to be the competitive insights. So I'm going to jump to a different RFP that's going to show you how the hotels on the premium subscription of Hopskip are able to benchmark their hotel's proposal against the other hotels who've also submitted for this same RFP. So you could see here on my RFP competitive insights tab, I'm able to understand things like how many hotels were requested, how many views did my proposal get versus the other hotels that are competing to win this business? What was my average room rate compared to the other hotels' room rate that's also competing to win the business? This is where hotels are able to get a leg up on the competition and understand just how competitive their proposal actually is. Last couple things that I will run through in the proposal flow is your messaging tab and your reports tab. Your messaging tab is where you have a direct line to the planner. The planner has a direct line to you as well. You're going to get notified anytime you're not online on Hopskip and that you have a message waiting for you. So will the planner. Planners really like using the chat messaging feature on Hopskip because they're typically managing anywhere between 5 and 15 conversations in parallel. So by having it flow through this feature allows them to be able to keep super organized. Lastly, your report section of your proposal is where you're going to be able to download a couple different reports that you have available. You'll be also able to download your PDF that you submitted your proposal that you submitted in a PDF format. And then you'll also be able to export the RFP as well. All right, I'm going to go to the promotions now, which is another feature on Hopskip that's available to the folks on the upgraded version of Hopskip. This is actually going to be a feature, though, that we're going to be releasing on a new subscription tier that we're coming out with this year called Market Insights. That's going to allow you to be able to be on a upgraded version of Hopskip that's more so focused around the insights that you're getting from the market and how your property is performing or benchmarking against similar hotels in your market or similar hotels in similar markets. Today, the promotions feature is available, though, right at this icon, top left. You just click on this icon. You're going to be brought right in to your promotions. The hotelier I'm logged in with right now is a hotelier that manages multiple hotels. So your Hopskip might look a little different depending on how you're set up at your property. If you are set up with multiple hotels, it's important to call out because you're going to be able to toggle between those hotels without having to log in or log out of Hopskip. And I'm calling it out here because if you're on a dashboard and you're a hotelier that is associated with multiple properties, you're going to want to make sure that you're knowing which hotel you're filtered on so that you're not confusing or conflating stats. So this hotelier, I'm going to say we want to look at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. I'm going to create a promotion for the Hyatt Regency. I'm going to enter in some details here, all standard stuff that I know you probably have created tons of these in your day, photos, T's and C's. But then you have this tab, and this is where you're able to target that promotion to various types of attributes. The attributes could be a group type, it could be a event type, or it could be an RFP type. So if you're just looking for meeting space RFPs for an association group over these dates, this is where you're able to create that, and you're able to share that to whatever planner, whatever group type that you're targeting. And Hopskip will look at those attributes and then put your promotion in front of those planners. All right, we're almost all the way through the 30-minute mark, and I'm going to be respectful of everybody's time here. I'm going to, for the sake of time, just quickly call out these dashboards because I know hoteliers love data, and this is your data hub. Think of so premium version of Hopskip. You have this reports icon that's going to allow you to access 4 different dashboards. First one's a sales performance dashboard. That's going to give you insights on how your sales team is performing from an opportunity received to a closed one perspective. You're going to see on your turn down dashboard all of the opportunities you've received, but you've turned them down. You're going to find out the reasons why. You're going to see who's turning down the most and what that value looks like. On your lost dashboard, you're going to be able to find out all of the RFPs or opportunities you've lost, why you've lost them. And then you're also going to be able to see the rate that you've submitted, but you're also going to understand how that rate stacks up against the other hotels in your market. So you'll see here, above or below, right next to that rate. Lastly, here is your comp set. So this is an important feature for hoteliers to understand on kind of how this works at Hopskip. As a hotelier, you have the ability in Hopskip to document your comp set. And by documenting your comp set, what that's going to unlock is a few things. At an RFP level, you're going to be able to understand how your rates are competitive against your comp set if you do have any comp set hotels in that RFP. But outside of RFPs, you're able to, on Hopskip, benchmark and track performance for your hotel against your comp set. And this is where those KPIs are going to live on your comp set tab. So you're going to understand how your average booking value stacks up against your competitors, what your average opportunity looks like against your competitors. You're going to be able to know what type of groups is my competitors getting that I'm not, what type of events are getting booked at my competitors that aren't getting booked at my property, what type of industries are booking these events. All of that information is right at your fingertips on this dashboard. And then the cool thing down here is once you document your comp set, you're going to have this stacked rank table. And what this table allows you to do is to be able to see out of the 10 or so hotels I have in my comp set, how am I ranking against them in terms of opportunities received, in terms of opportunity value, average room nights booked, number of bookings. All of that information is packaged up for you in this comp set dashboard. Again, this is available on the premium tier, but you are able to, on the free tier, document your comp set in your hotel profile and get some lightweight stats on performance benchmarking. And I think that is probably a great place to stop. I know that we're at just about the 30-minute mark, and I'm going to be respectful of everybody's time. I really appreciate the engagement for today. We definitely will be having another one of these in the next couple of weeks. So please feel free to join another one, invite your teammates. we're always happy to help. If you're ever on the platform and struggling, or just have a question or want some clarity on anything, all you have to do to get some help on Hopskip is simply just go to the bottom right corner of your Hopskip account. You'll see this little circle here. Click send us a message, and there's a real Hopskip team member on the other side of that is readily available to help you and typically answers in under 1 minute. And that, I think, wraps our Lunch and Learn webinar for hoteliers. Thank you all again for joining. We look forward to seeing you at the next one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a lovely weekend. Thanks, guys.